Hey, everybody. Michelle is here. It is 12/13/2024 on a Friday. What you say? On a Friday. I just got back from the grocery store, and as you can see on my face, I still wear my mask when I'm in crowded environments, in crowded grocery stores especially, because of, not only from COVID, or any, influence. Anything can happen to you when you go into certain environments like that with a lot of people. And at the same time, you want to protect others from you. You may be carrying something that you're unaware of that you have, because I stopped by another location and met with the staff, and I saw her with a mask on, which I normally do not see her with a mask on. And she had a mask on because she caught the flu from people that were living in her environment. So you just protect yourself. That's all. So what I wanted to come back this morning and talk about is these subtleties that are happening in our lives. These subtleties that are happening, and how so many of us are missing the subtleties and do not understand how these subtleties are harming all of us, especially in our interpersonal relationships. It is so important, I sense, that, as we are working on building our interpersonal relationships, we work on bringing back some intimacy in those relationships. Especially, intimacy can mean anything, and that's what I want to advocate. Make sure that whoever you choose to be intimate with, you discuss what that means to both of you. And some of you are in groups. I don't speak on that behalf, because I don't participate in group in those type of group settings of relationships, or whatever they're calling it now. But yes, the subtleties are very, very deceptive and manipulative, and if you're not paying attention, you can easily miss them. And so I put out a post or something somewhere where, well, let's start here. Before I retired from my toxic work environment, I had contemplated, while there, before I retired, filing a lawsuit against the city while I was in this former first responder position. Okay, when I was in that position, I got plenty of videos on there. I picked up the subtle forms of discrimination. I picked up the subtle forms of toxicity in those environments, and how if you're not conscious, and if you're not woke, and if you haven't evolved your consciousness enough, you can easily miss it, and you will not realize that you're being slowly poisoned, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. So our interpersonal relationships were intentionally poisoned, okay, with these subtleties that a lot of people don't recognize. And so a lot of people are being very, when they operate in it, and let me just be very, very honest with you. A lot of people that are in that criminal energy, they may have the capacity to be called geniuses. I'm telling you, you can have a genius that I told you that create that I Nublia, or that God Nublia, who were maybe considered geniuses. Yeah, I of God Nublia. They may have been considered geniuses, but they were operating under criminal energy. Okay, and I can say majority of them may be, because a lot of those that are operating under that criminal energy are despondent, depressed, and they have self-hatred from themselves. Even though they are considered geniuses, or they're considered innovators, they're considered visionaries, they're considered whatever, some of them still possess, scientists especially, still possess inside of them self-hatred. Okay, they have this self-hatred that's bleeding all over their creativity in subtle fashions. And that's what I need a lot of you to start recognizing, these subtleties as to how people are harming us, slowly poison us, literally, figuratively, and metaphorically. So when I was in that toxic work environment, yeah, there were subtle forms of targeting towards me that I am so thankful, and I'm going to make this very clear. I'm so thankful to my white sisters, my white female co-workers who were not about that. Okay. And it has nothing to do with their political affiliation. As a matter of fact, most of them were Republicans. Most of them were Republicans. But yet they still were able to pick up these subtle forms of discrimination, these subtle forms of targeting towards me in the workplace. Okay. And as a matter of fact, the oppressor had attempted to reach out to one of these co-workers, one of these white sisters, to have them engage in a plot to get rid of Michelle. Okay. And this sister, this white sister, was like despondent about this, because what happened is that as everybody was leaving to go home for the day, this oppressor, and I'll call her the manager at the time, called this white sister into her office and was trying to plot with her to how to get rid of Michelle. It was just the two of them in the office. There were no witnesses. Nobody else was there. And this particular sister is one of those genuine, really, overly, she has a lot of care and love for people. I know that. But she can easily be targeted for that, be exploited, because she's so caring, and she'll go above and beyond for people. But yet, so that's why she was pulled into the office, because this oppressor, also known as the manager, knew that this particular person was going to be, almost trapped and felt cornered, to be participating in criminal energy, the criminal energy of getting rid of Michelle. You know what I mean? And so the white sister, was so despondent about it. And so she couldn't hold it in any longer, because it was supposed to be a secret between her and this oppressor manager, but she was so despondent. She had to reach out to one of her best friends. And then one of her best friends had to snap her out of it and say, hey, do you understand what's happening here? Do you understand what you are being drawn in to do? So my point is, goodness is goodness, and as well as evilness is evilness. Okay, you never know who's paying attention, who is watching what's going on. And so that's why it's so important to be on that receiving end of being open enough, suspending your ego, suspending your labeling, suspending yourself, and be fully engaged in what's really going on. What are people saying to you? The audacity of this oppressor manager to call in some innocent bystander, white sister of mine, to help plot to get rid of me. And that tells you, that ought to snap you out right away and say, okay, if this oppressor manager had the audacity to consider such a plot, what do you think is happening in the hierarchical structures of these so-called pyramid leaders, oppressive leaders? Okay, I told you, you do not have any reason to be subservient to people, submissive and bowing down, okay, just to do your job. Okay, as I said as well, I respect everyone, including the military. Okay, but I'm not going to be subservient to anybody in military uniform. I'm not going to be submissive. I'm not going to be bowing. Okay, subserviency is not in my DNA, and never has and never will be. But my point is this: you need to develop this type of confidence in yourself, because you have no reason to be apologizing for your strength, even if you have feminine energy. Feminine energy in itself is strength. That's why it's sought after. That's why you have, non-biological women wanting a piece of it. Biological women have a dominant feminine energy, okay, as well as an quiet masculinity. However, that quiet masculinity, and that goes for men too, but I'm talking to the women. That quiet masculinity is there to serve you when necessary, but not necessarily to interfere. In other words, that masculine energy is there, is neutralized, but it understands the power and the dominance of the feminine energy. Okay? And again, it has nothing to do with who you want to sleep with. Okay? It has nothing to do with any of that. As a matter of fact, who you choose to sleep with is the part that I'm telling you that you need to regain sacredness over that. You need to have privacy over that. And you need to be respected for who you choose to have as a partner, an intimacy partner. Okay? So I am so thankful to people that care about humanity regardless. And there's millions, possibly billions of people that way, but they get suppressed. Okay, they get targeted. You know, they get manipulated. They get deceived, and that's the role that politics plays. Some people in politics play, especially in religion or non-religion. Because whether you're religious or non-religious, if you're extreme in either fashion, you're causing just as much harm. Okay? So I get up this morning, you know. I mean, I feel good. You know, I'm putting in the work to make the impact that I will make. I mean, there's no doubt about the impact I will make. It's just you have to go through details. You know, sometimes I don't like the details but you do. And so, you know, I talk to a lot of people, not a lot of people, but I'm building a circle or a sphere of people around me that's helping me, guiding me just as well as I want to help and guide. Okay? Keep in mind, teachers need to be taught. Someone that considers themselves a guide need to be guided as well. We all depend on each other. Okay? We're all in this together. So I wanted to come on through on this Friday and say to you that I offer you an opportunity to pay attention to your environment, pay attention to the subtleties of toxicity and targeting and harming of human beings in your workplace. I know a lot of people are coming out, advocating for this and advocating for that. But a lot of it is coming from the masculine energy, even though some people are going around thinking they are, okay, let me just see if I can explain this where this is not so confusing. Because there's nothing but confusion out there. Again, biological men, biological women. Okay, that's what we have on this planet, in this universe. This universe was created out of biology. It has the male and the female, the masculine and the feminine, or you can say the yin and the yang, which was introduced by Carl Jung, however you pronounce his name. That component of the masculine and the feminine, and they are all, they're kind of dancing together. That's basically what happens with the energy inside of all of us. We have the masculine and feminine dancing inside of us, attempting to be cohesive and in a rhythm, in a sort of dance together. Okay. With what the confusion is, though, there is a complete degeneracy and a lot of devolvement of how to properly disperse our energy, whether it's male or female. Okay? And so, because of the state of our planet, as I've said, we have way too many people on this planet. And since we are all energy, our energy is interfering with the flow. It's not flowing, it's interfering, causing a misfire of how you are properly to develop. Because this planet is massively, massively, massively overpopulated with human beings, not to mention your toys and your equipment, we are interfering with the development with each other. Okay, we're causing babies to come into this planet way too quickly before they have properly developed their former personalities. Okay, stay with me. It's all energy. We do re-alive ourselves, also known as reincarnation or reborn, regardless of what anyone has to say about it. Go out in nature. Nature points it out to you, whatever part of nature you have left. That's the sad part we need to keep in mind. We're losing trees, we're losing the flowers, fauna, and flora, and also the elements and the energy and the sounds and tones of the energy of our environment, and the energy of our nature, what we see here, since, how we interact in our nature. Our nature is our teacher. So, just breathe. Allow yourself to just ground yourself in your reality. Just ground yourself. No one needs to know that's what you're doing. If you're just sitting around in your home, and a lot of the people I talk to, I know most of you work at home, or you are either consultants, small business owners, entrepreneurs. In other words, you kind of are a bit flexible with your scheduling. So, and in most cases, you take flights here, you take flights there, you take the train here, train there, you drive here, you drive, you're sort of flexible with your scheduling. You can kind of move around and, kind of set the tone as to how you want to conduct yourself, similarly as to what I'm doing. But when I'm here, nobody has to know that I'm just sitting here relaxing. But at the same time, I'm contemplating, cultivating, and also I'm while I'm sitting here and looking around, I'm meditating too. I do this what I call all body, all day, every activity meditation, because meditation at the end of the day is nothing but breathing and focusing on your breath, focusing on your sensations, your sensing. It's not magic. Okay, it's not esoteric, and as a matter of fact, meditation can be dangerous if not used properly, and I can help you with that as well. But just pay attention to the subtleties of how people are treating each other. Pay attention to the subtleties that people have labeled certain groups of people. Pay attention to the derogatory terms used against certain people. Because let me tell you again about the energy. Just be clear about this. Because our population growth is out of control, we are confused. Some people are confused about their identity and who they are, what they are, and why they are. And they believe that if something's going on in their thoughts, if their thoughts say one thing, that's true. That's a fallacy. Okay, because that's where the issues are starting with our thoughts. All because you believe something, you think something, doesn't mean that it's real, and more importantly, doesn't mean that it's true. So, picture this with why I say there's a disturbance with the energy. Okay, again, let me use myself as an example. I am a biological woman. I'm a biological female. I have the chromosomes and the autonomy to support that. I have the reproduction parts to prove that as well. Okay, I am a biological woman, and I came from the womb of my biological mother. Okay, so and my father used his energy just as well to create me and others. Okay, we understand that. It's a biology, is my point. Even though people are outside doing things outside of it, and that's where the catastrophes are. But we're not going to talk about that right now. But I just want you to think about this real quick. If you choose to. I'm a biological woman. Okay, when I was a younger girl, I was confused about my sex. I was confused because as a biological woman, I was attracted to other biological females. I did not like the boys, per se. I mean, I pretended that I did. I did not. And so I used to have relatives who were not developed properly and how to properly think, were telling me this and that and the other, and they were confusing me even more. Okay, instead of instead of being logical, rational, and reasonable, they were confusing me more. And so what I've said, which is true, as a biological woman, okay, I cannot go around, well, I can, but it's delusional, hallucinating, and it's damaged, underdeveloped consciousness to say that I'm a man when I do not have any reproductive parts to say so. Okay, so what it is, at the end of the day, without going into any more details, because like I said, this stuff has to be talked about in a safe environment. What it is there's a confusion in the consciousness, okay, about your reality. And a lot of people are attempting to keep pushing the envelope, because they believe they can. And that is the destruction that we're causing this planet and each other, because we think we have the power of a God, that we can just, snap our fingers and things are supposed to go our way. All I'm saying is you need to just calm down with all of these labeling of yourself. Calm down with all of these identities that you have about yourself. And see if you can strip yourself open, per se, and see what's going on with the parts inside of you. You have these parts, these reproductive parts, these components of the male and female for a reason. We have males, we have females, and we have intersex, which is hermaphrodites. I can never say that right. We have males and females, and we have intersex. And the intersex have the reproductive parts to support it. Okay, all because you think you're a man, but you don't have the reproductive parts to support that. Okay, that's a disconnect. That's a disconnect. And I know a lot of people hate that. We have these certain communities coming through, and they hate to hear that. And unfortunately, it's going to get worse before it gets better, because people are going to be claiming every other type of identity. You think it's transgender now, you think it's non-binary now. Okay, it's going to be even more extreme, and as to how people are identifying themselves. And sadly as well, the parts that they're going to be dealt with, they're not going to be happy with that as well. And it's not going to have anything to do with whether you think you're a man or a woman. It's just going to have a little bit more of a disturbing component to it. And so we also are being taught that there's going to be a severe catastrophic issues with fertility. Okay, it was dangerous from the beginning to interfere with fertility, but of course people wanted their babies, people wanted this, and so now it's turning into a mutation that a lot of people are not going to be able to recover from. I know I'm saying a lot in this video, but I know what I'm doing. I know what breadcrumbs I'm putting out. Let's see if we can get in here. Having some issues with my service this whole week has been an issue, because I know that there's something happened with either with the algorithms or something happened this last couple of days with the because I noticed it on the social media platforms, of course, is where you'll notice these kind of things. But the mutation is going to be of the interference with fertilities. It's going to cause massive catastrophes with our interpersonal relationships, and that's why it's going to be so important that you get yourself grounded now more than ever as to how to discern and protect yourself through all of these changing times. Okay? Yes, a mutation, an alteration in the nuclei acid sequence of the genome. So, and that's what we're doing. We're interfering with the nucleic acid sequence of our genome, DNA, RNA, and and then on top of that, they are introducing artificial intelligence into that development, and thus causing the mutations. So just keep this stuff in mind. Think outside of yourself. No one has to know you're doing that. Relax, be gentle, be calm. I'll be there as best I can to help us with these interpersonal relationships, but it goes deep, 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 deep. But as long as you are opening up, you feel safe in discussing certain things, you feel safe in introducing certain situations into your life, you'll get through this, okay? I will guide you and do the best I can to help you along your individual journey with the evolution of your consciousness. So I'm going to go ahead and send peace and love right now. But trust me, I will be back.